Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Divine Intervention. I am your host, Erlisha Young Rentz. Many of you might be saying, well, wait a minute. She usually airs live on Saturdays at 1 p.m. But on tonight, I just wanted to come on and just be an encouragement, not only to myself, but to someone else. How many of you know that there are a lot of things going on in this dispensation of time? I don't care like what your social status is or whatever it is. We are all dealing with different things in our lives. So the mere fact that each and every one of us are in the places where we are individually, doing our own growth thing, sometimes it causes not only disruption in relationships, but interruption in friendships. It just causes disruption all over the place because oftentimes there's a lot of misunderstanding. But I just wanted to come on today and to just encourage myself and to encourage someone else and let them know that we do not get to dictate or put timing on the things in our life or the areas in our life where God sees fit for us to have to grow. How many of you know that we serve a God that loves us so much? And even in the Word of God, it says that He chastens the ones that He loves. So how many of you know that oftentimes when things come up in our midst, that they have not come to hurt us, but to be a blessing to us and make us better? And not only make us better, but sometimes make the people around us better also. I could just sit here and just share like many of the different experiences that I have gone through in the past year or so. I can truly tell you that as an individual, my growth has truly been off the charts. And it's a blessing when you can look back over your life and be able to see and gauge how you have grown. But I can tell you this, the downside to growth is oftentimes while you're growing, sometimes the growing pains or the mistakes or whatever it was that happened during that period of growth, oftentimes people do not want to release you from those things. What am I saying when I say that? People don't forgive the way that God forgives. And oftentimes people will hold things in their heart concerning you, not understanding, like I said earlier, that we are all in a place where we are growing. Some of us are being healed from unresolved hurts. Some of us have inner child issues. Some of us have addictions. Some of us have been abused. There are just so many different things going on in this life that it's really hard to like put a handle on what's what. But I do know that the essence of each and every one of us is love, and that when God initially created each and every one of us, He created us for a purpose, and that was to love Him and to love one another. But I can tell you that as we walk through life and the different environmental structures that we go through, it alters who we are. So what I'm saying to you is that as we grow through life, we pick up things, and we don't sometimes realize the things that we have picked up. And sometimes we don't even realize how much the environments that we've been in have changed us, or the things that we have been exposed to, how they have had an effect on us. I can tell you this, that nothing that God created was bad. Everything that God created was good. But somewhere along the line, I'm reminded of a GPS system. We got off track. There was a voice telling us to go this way, but we chose to go the opposite way. And it led us to be in places that we necessarily didn't choose or weren't even comfortable being. But I'm just grateful to know that God is the master GPS operator. And when we get off track, that He loves us enough and that He is so gracious enough that He will gently guide us back to the place that we need to be. But how many of you know that on the other side of that guidance that we have a choice? We have to choose to allow God to work out the things that we have picked up over a period of time. We have to allow Him to work those things out of us. But there is also another thing to having things worked out of you. You don't know what you have picked up over the years. I am just so grateful that when you truly seek God and you begin to ask Him things, that He allows the Holy Spirit to bring back to your remembrance when this happened, when that happened, where you went wrong, where somebody else went wrong. He will do that for you. I am just reminded of like where my brokenness truly began. And I can tell you that oftentimes we don't realize that we're broken. We don't realize that the effect that whatever the circumstances that we have gone through have affected us, especially in our adult life. I can tell you that as a child, there are things that happen to us sometimes that we don't remember. It could be something just as minute as someone picking on you, talking about your hair, talking about your skin color, just talking about the way you dress. How many of you know that when things are spoken to you negative, those things are sown into your mind and they take root. And over a period of time, they have an effect on you that you don't even realize. So when you grow up into your adult life, you have things going on with you that you don't even realize. So that's why it is so important to take that time out just to get to know yourself so that you can truly know about you. I can tell you, until you know you, until you learn how to love you, and until you learn how to do certain things for yourself, you are not going to be a benefit to anyone. It is so much easier to mask who you are and try to be that for somebody else versus doing the self-work, which is a lot of work. Working on you, making sure that you have what you need so that you can be beneficial to someone and not a deficit. What am I saying by that? To be a benefit to someone, that means what? That I have dealt with my baggage. Because as I said earlier, over the years, we pick up things that we don't realize, and we cannot dictate or control how those things manifest themselves in life. I can tell you just a little testament about myself. In my first marriage, I experienced some things that I did not realize how they had an effect on me with making decisions as far as relationship wise. I really won't go into detail right now what I'm saying about that, but I'm just trying to get you to understand that there is a root to every area of brokenness. But it is up to you to do the self-work. It is up to you to seek and find, what it is that's going on with you. And sometimes when you're in your most broken states, it causes you to be misunderstood. It causes you to walk in misunderstanding. What am I saying when I say that to you? Sometimes it's very hard for you to articulate to someone what it is that you are experiencing. There is a such thing as soul ties. I got to throw that in there. How many of you know that when we connect ourselves with people, we begin to take on the characteristics sometimes that they display? And then sometimes along with the environmental things that we picked up, along with the things that we picked up from other people, how many of you know that we wind up in some messy situations? But I can tell you that all it takes is a conscious effort to want to change and to want to do better. I have made up in my mind. I started doing the self-work like over a year ago. A lot of people tell you that if you have therapy, you're crazy, or you don't need, you have God, and you don't know. That's not necessarily true. Because I can tell you that my therapist, basically what she did for me was pull out the stuff that was already on the inside of me and reminded me that the essence of me is love, and gave me a little bit more insight about myself so that I could understand a little bit more about me. And also she helped me understand like my emotional triggers. She helped me understand like why I responded to this that way, or why I did that way. I'm letting you know that God puts people in place to help you walk through these different seasons in your life. But it is very important that you understand what season you're in. Whether it's a season where you know what, you need to get up and grow up. Or whether it's a season where you know what, I need to learn how to trust God. I need to learn how to trust myself. I need to learn how to trust other people. We walk through so many different seasons in our life. But I can tell you that God puts people in place for reasons, for seasons, and for a lifetime. But I can tell you that sometimes we try to hold on to things that were just for a reason. Sometimes we hold on to things that were just there for a season. And then sometimes because we've hold it on, is hold it on a word? Or because we're holding on to things that were reason and season, we neglect the things that God has placed in our midst for a lifetime. That's why it is very important to understand where you are. But you have to also know that we have a distractor in this life who has come to disrupt everything that God has put together. But how many of you know that it won't work? Everything about him is a lie. Everything that he does is temporary. Nothing that he does or puts in front of you will last. So I want to encourage you to know that whatever weapons have formed against you in this season, know that they will not prosper. Know that they're only there for a purpose, to grow you up so that you can learn about not only you, but learn about the things that are going on around you. Anything that comes in your life has not come to break you. It has come to make you. But you have to understand that it is the mindset as you're going or growing through whatever the season is in your life. So if you're struggling in your finances, I can assure you that that is an opportunity for you to reevaluate some things. Maybe about your spending. You know, maybe you need to get in budgeting classes, or whatever it is that you need to do. Look at these different seasons in your life as an opportunity for you to grow and be better. If you're dealing with things in your relationship, realize that either God is trying to grow you up, or he's trying to separate some things maybe from you that are not meant to go with you into your next season. I said earlier that sometimes we pick up things along the way that are not beneficial to us. And some of you have to realize that in our seasons, sometimes when we're going through transitions, we're vulnerable. And in our seasons of vulnerability, we have to understand that the enemy knows our desires. And sometimes he will shape himself into what it is that you're desiring. But you have to understand that the enemy knows only what we put out there. So for a young lady or a male who is aspiring to be married, you're going to be talking about wedding plans, and you're going to be talking about different things. So the enemy hears this. So what he's done is formed himself into this tall, dark, handsome man that smell good and look good, but don't mean you a lick of good, only because of what he has heard you put into the atmosphere. So then what? You find yourself in a situation. Not only have you been distracted, not only have you been knocked off course, but you wound up in a season of a lot of hurt, all because it was a mirage, basically. It was the devil in a human form that came to disrupt the order that God had placed in your life. And that goes for male or female. What I'm trying to just get you to understand is just be mindful of yourself. To be mindful. Because I can tell you, when we walk through seasons and we allow things to come in our season that was only seasonal, sometimes they disrupt things and they cause us hurt and they cause us pain and they set us back. But I can tell you that no matter how big the setback, that we have a God who is so loving, who is so gracious, and who sits on ready all the time to pick up our broken pieces. Every masterpiece was weaving together off of brokenness. How many of you know that God can use every broken area of your life to bring what it is that you have desired? But the thing about God working, we have to learn not only to trust him, but we have to learn how to be patient and wait for him to bring whatever that thing is to pass. One of the tricks of the enemy is he wants us to get ahead of God. He wants us to think that God is not in control, that God is hiding something from us, that God is not able to bring you out of whatever you're in. He is a deceptor, and everything about him is a lie. So wherever it is that you're in this moment, whatever seeds have been sowed into your mind, whatever broken areas you have within you, give those things to God. He said that he could carry every one of your burdens. There are some people out there so burdened down by the cares of life, thinking that they have to be in control of everything. You all, I'm here to tell you, even though God gave us free will, we are not in control of anything. And he has a funny way of letting life to let us know you was never in control. You always needed me. Many of you are trying to find out this void that you may be feeling in your heart. Many of you may be trying to figure out, I know that it's something else. I know that there's more to me. I know that there's something else that I should be doing, but I just don't know how to get there. Your relationship with Christ is a personal thing. And I can tell you that you can call on him any hour of the day, and he is going to be there for you. We walk by faith and not by sight. How can we not love the people that we see every day, but then we can say that we have faith and trust in God? That's kind of weird to me. But those different things come with seasons of growth. I was just sitting back thinking the other day. I was like, you know what? You get in your car and you start your car and you have confidence that your car is going to get you wherever you need to go. And you have put confidence in people that have let you down. You have let people down. So why is it so hard for you to have that confidence in what you know can hold you? What can sustain you? What can heal you? What can deliver you? What can provide for you? What can comfort you? What can give your strength when you're weak, what can build you up when you're torn down, what can comfort you when you're afraid. How is it so easy for us to put confidence in things that we can see, that we know can't hold us? But we have a God who has shown us evidence every day when he wakes us up that he is who he is and that he can do all things. I don't know what it is that you're struggling with on today. I can tell you that I asked God this question. I said, God, why would you call me in the midst of everything that is going on with me? And I can tell you that his response was, why not? Because it's in these difficult times that God shows himself strong and mighty. And it's also that in these difficult seasons that God shows you who you are, not only in him, but God shows you why you need him so much. It is so easy to just go to something else. Why not just buckle down and just allow God to be God and just work out whatever it is that he needs to work out in you so that you don't keep going through these cycles in your life? Some things that we deal with, they are the same, but they just come at us in different forms. So we have to be alert. We have to be aware of our surroundings and just be mindful of who we allow to talk in our ear, the things that we watch on TV. Y'all, we are living in a season where we really, really have to be careful. And we really have to stop living reckless, because the enemy of our soul, his time is getting short. And he is doing everything in his power to deceive or make you think that this is that way or you need to do things this way, when this is truly the season to truly know who you are. Not only who you are, but whose you are. So I just want to let you know that to not give up. Don't quit. Keep going when it hurts. Keep going when you're afraid. Keep going when you don't understand. Keep going when you're misunderstood. Just keep going. That's one thing I can say that I admire about myself, is that no matter what has come at me, I've never given up. I can tell you that I have been in some situations where, y'all, it felt like near death. I wasn't like really dying, but some situations you be like, oh, it's like your heart is bleeding. But then when you look back and you see how you've grown through those situations, it brings you peace. There is peace on the other side of the seasons that are not comfortable to us. How many of you know that a diamond has to be able to go through a lot of heat in order to be that precious stone? How many of you know that when coal is put in a fire, that it has to be able to withstand the heat and the pressure that is put on it? So it's the same thing with us in life. We have to learn how to stand in those heated moments in our life and not give up and not waver, but look up and trust God and knows that he knows best and that he would not have allowed us to go to it if he was not going to bring us through it. So just change your perspective about the things that you're walking through in these different seasons in your life. Again, this is the Divine Intervention, and I am your host, Erlisha Young. I pray that something was said on tonight that not only enlightened you, but encouraged you to just keep going and to keep trusting and keep seeking until you find that thing that God has put here for you to do, because we all have a purpose. We all have a place. And we all have a moment when we're going when we're going to be up and when we're going to be done. Down, I'm sorry. But I just want to encourage you not to quit. This is Divine Intervention. I'll see you all on Saturday at 1 p.m. And again, I'm your host, Erlisha Latricia Young. God bless. Young Rents.